Hello, Sandy. All right, this is a strange place to start a presentation, looking at a pile of dirt, but I picture more of your company probably using the back than the front. You do have your front walkway here, but just a hunch I have, give me feedback on it. So this is the slide that I use for doing the first part of your landscape design. Let me show you what the drawing looks like, and then we'll show you the AI version of this. So in this, a couple of the objectives that I had is I wanted to add color. These are endless summer hydrangea through here. I've also added other limelight hydrangea and then some other fall and spring color items like Zujao loropetalum and Orangeola Japanese maple. Let's take a look at the AI version. Actually, let's review first plants. This is a relatively mature live oak. This is Zujao loropetalum when it is in bloom early in the spring. This is an evergreen tree, thus providing screening from the road. Very, very low maintenance, and that is something that I've been very cognizant of on all of this, is to keep this as low maintenance as possible. This is a plant called endless summer hydrangea, and then the limelight hydrangea look very similar to what you see here. On the screening running parallel to the road is Podocarpus or Japanese yew, and that's what it looks like. You can see them lined up here. They make a very skinny screening, which that way it doesn't eat into a lot of space of your yard. If you spend time hedging them, they look like this. If not, it's perfectly acceptable. This is a plant that you practically have absolutely no maintenance at all necessary to keep it looking good. On the color end, this is Orangeola Japanese maple. It is in there because I picture in the fall with football season, you doing more entertaining, and that's where we really want your backyard or your yard to shine. And this is how it turns out when we're looking at the AI. We've got the endless summer hydrangea through here, Orangeola Japanese maple, the Zujao loropetalum, and then this is the Podocarpus Japanese yew going along through here. Now, I have in here grass. However, if you did not want the maintenance of grass, this could be changed out to some sort of very attractive looking gravel. So just know that that is an option for bringing people who probably would park here on the road, bringing them around to your back patio and your back door. So we've walked from the driveway over to this location. These are my ideas for what we can do with your backyard. One of my objectives was to bring a lot of nature in, and one of the best plants to do that with is a plant called Vitex. This is what Vitex looks like. This is in bloom right now. And I particularly like this plant because it brings a lot of nature with butterflies, hummingbirds, and later on robins and cardinals to this particular plant. You can see here how it lights up with just absolutely amazing blooms this time of the year. I also have in this camellias. I've put these in there because these will form an evergreen screen, which is almost zero maintenance, and this is going to be in bloom in the fall. Again, football season. Here's another shot of that same version of camellias. So this is how it plays out. In the background, I have the live oak, I've got the Zujao loropetalum, but then what we are focusing on right now were the Vitex and the underplanting of camellias through here. I've also added some color in here. Now this is color that is perennial. And what perennial means is that it comes back every year for you. You do not have to go out, buy, and plant these. Once they're planted, they're good to go. You can also see where I've extended your patio out. I've given you more entertainment space. And one of the things that I took into consideration was you had talked about a gazebo over here. I'm not real thrilled about a gazebo because of the additional cost and having it separated from your patio. So what I did is I just expanded the existing patio. I've added on to what you have. as well as capitalizing on the view that you have of the sunset over here. Um, the next photo, which I just sort of gave you a preview of, it's just an option. It's a plant called passion vine. It would do really well trellised over here. It's a really amazing and striking plant, and one of the reasons I like this is because it's a butterfly host. It attracts butterflies and caterpillars, and you can also eat the fruit. This is native, and it's, again, very, very low maintenance, but just very fascinating plant. Also, this can be purchased with that. Some of it is very fragrant, but this is the fruit. You ever heard of passion fruit or passion vine? This is where it comes from. But let's take a look at what we can do with this area, focusing on the west where the sun sets. So in this, what I've done is I've added the two arborvitas, emerald green arborvita, a focal point of a bird bath to attract more birds to your backyard, as well as adding different perennials. Again, perennials, they come back year after year to this location. This is what the emerald green arborvita looks like. And these are a couple of the perennials that would do well in this setting. One of the beautiful things about these, again, they're going to attract more birds, butterflies, and hummingbirds to your yard. This is Bee Balm monarda, amazing plant. And this is how the AI draws what I put in there for you. We've got the Vitex, we've got the camellias, the focal point looking at the sunset back here, and then adding different perennials into this location. Let's move to the front yard. So in your front yard, this is a relatively simple concept, but it adds a lot of attractiveness to it. And this is where you could use your robot lawnmower. I think on the side, all of this could potentially be gravel instead of grass, but in the front, we definitely need some grass up there. So let's take a look at what this would be. I've drawn in the side. Here we've got these boxes right here, and I was like, I've got to do something interesting to those boxes. What can we do with that? So the idea was to add a red Japanese maple. These are azaleas in both of these spots, daylilies, and then some accent with some stone in here. And then just more, I've got the endless summer hydrangea dotted throughout in this landscape as well. Again, these are not plants that you have to do a whole lot with other than enjoy what they look like. So going through what these look like, this is a red Japanese maple. These are examples of azaleas right here. This is an example of a mass planting of daylilies. And then you can see through here how the stone has been used as an accent in this particular landscape. And this is how the AI plays out with it. Part of what I wanted to do is frame this view from the road with the live oaks and then have this as a centerpiece. We've added in the boulders and some river stone, as well as a lot of color in here for you. Lastly, on the side of your house, what do we do with this big hillside? And again, my goal on this has been to make this as low maintenance as possible and attract as many birds and bring back nature as much as possible. So with this, I've added in wax myrtle into this. And the way it plays out is really this whole hillside, we bring in wax myrtle instead of the junipers. The junipers over time will become a maintenance nightmare for you. If there's any way to talk with your builder about doing wax myrtle instead of junipers, that way you're spending your money on something you'll actually use and will not become a maintenance nightmare for you. So that is a tour of my ideas. Give me some feedback on it, and we can keep it as it is or make any adjustments as you see fit. Thank you so much for asking us to take a look at this for you. I look forward to creating this idea into a reality.